In the late 1970s, the United States military realized they had a problem. Their fleet of aging jeeps and light trucks simply couldn't keep up with the demands of modern warfare. They needed something wider, tougher, and more versatile. A vehicle that could climb a 60% grade, wade through 30 inches of water, and survive the harshest environments on Earth. This led to the creation of the High Mobility Multi-Purpose Wheeled Vehicle, or HMMWV. But to the soldiers who first drove it into the deserts of the Middle East, it was simply known as the Humvee. The Humvee became a global icon during the Gulf War in 1991. Night after night, television audiences watched footage of these massive, wide-stanced machines effortlessly navigating the sand dunes of Iraq. It looked less like a truck and more like a statement of absolute dominance. One of the people watching those broadcasts was action star Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was so captivated by the vehicle's rugged aesthetic that he lobbied AM General to build a version for the civilian market. In 1992, the Hummer H1 was born. It was barely a civilian vehicle. It was nearly 8 feet wide, weighed over 7,000 pounds, and featured a Spartan interior that was split down the middle by a massive drivetrain tunnel. It was impractical, difficult to park, and incredibly thirsty for fuel. But for a certain segment of the population, it was the ultimate symbol of status and ruggedness. It wasn't a car, it was a tank for the driveway. Seeing the cultural impact, General Motors purchased the brand name in 1999. Their goal was to take that military DNA and make it palatable for the average consumer. In 2002, they released the H2. While it shared some components with heavy-duty Chevy trucks, it kept the iconic boxy shape and vertical grille of its older brother. The H2 became the definitive symbol of early 2000s excess. It appeared in music videos, dominated suburban parking lots, and for a few years, it seemed like the brand could do no wrong. They followed up with the smaller H3, trying to bring the Hummer aesthetic to a more mainstream audience. However, the world was changing. As gas prices soared and environmental concerns moved from the fringes to the mainstream, the Hummer became a lightning rod for criticism. To its fans, it represented freedom and capability. To its critics, it was the poster child for waste and environmental indifference. When the 2008 financial crisis hit and the automotive industry collapsed, the Hummer brand was one of the first casualties. In 2010, the last Hummer rolled off the assembly line, and the brand was officially mothballed. It seemed like the era of the giant, gas-guzzling SUV was over. But the story didn't end there. For a decade, the Hummer name sat in a vault, waiting for the technology to catch up with its reputation. In 2020, GMC announced the unthinkable. The Hummer was coming back. But this time, it wouldn't use a single drop of gasoline. The new Hummer EV is a study in technological overkill. It is a 3-motor electric beast that produces over 1,000 horsepower and can propel its massive weight from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3 seconds. A feat that matches many Ferraris. It features crab walk capability, using 4-wheel steering to move diagonally, and an extract mode that lifts the entire body to clear obstacles. It has shifted from being a symbol of fossil fuel excess to a showcase for the sheer power and potential of electric propulsion. The history of the Hummer is a mirror of the last 40 years of culture. It started as a tool of war, became a trophy of celebrity excess, was buried by a changing economy, and has now been resurrected as a high-tech electric halo. It remains one of the most polarizing vehicles ever built. But whether you love it or hate it, you cannot ignore it. It is a machine designed to go where others can't. And in doing so, it has carved out a unique, oversized place in the history of the open road. From the battlefields of the 90s to the charging stations of today, the Hummer has always been about one thing: being the biggest, toughest thing on four wheels. Thanks for watching.